I used to think distance was just physical, that if you left a place, you could always come back and pick things up where you left them. I believed people would stay the same, feelings would stay the same, and nothing would really change. But I was wrong. Because while I was away, life didn't pause. It moved on without me. And when I finally returned, I felt it immediately. Nothing was waiting the way I expected. The streets looked familiar, the faces too, but something had shifted. Even the way people looked at me felt different. I told myself it was in my head that everything would settle once I spoke to Emily again. But deep down, I already knew the truth. Time doesn't just heal things. Sometimes it changes them completely. And no matter how much I wanted things to go back, I couldn't ignore that feeling growing inside me. Emily was the first person I looked for. I had imagined that moment so many times. What I would say, how she would react, how everything would fall back into place. But reality doesn't follow imagination. When I saw her, she wasn't angry, she wasn't smiling either. There was something worse. Distance, like I had become a stranger she once knew very well. And in that moment, I realized I had lost more than just time. I tried to explain myself. I wanted her to understand that it wasn't intentional, that things just happened faster than I could control. But the words felt empty the moment I said them. Because trust isn't rebuilt with explanations, it's rebuilt with presence. And I had been absent for too long. Every sentence I spoke only reminded her of the silence I had left behind. While I was trying to fix what I had lost with Emily, life around me was already moving in a different direction. Drogba was still the same, confident, loud, always acting like nothing could go wrong. George too, always calculating, always talking like he knew how everything would play out. I used to think I needed them to survive life here, but slowly I started questioning whether they were helping me or pulling me deeper. Because everywhere I looked, there were consequences, small choices turning into bigger problems. Moments that started as jokes becoming situations no one could easily fix. And the worst part was how normal it all seemed to them, like nothing had weight. Like tomorrow would always be there to clean up today's mess. But I was starting to see that tomorrow doesn't always come the way you expect. I remember hearing about Jane and thinking it was just another story at first. Just another situation people would laugh about, then move on from. But it wasn't like that. Not this time. What started as something simple turned into something heavier, something that couldn't just be ignored. And for the first time, I saw Drogba differently. Not as someone untouchable, but as someone facing reality. It made me think about how easily people fall into things they never planned for. How quickly excitement turns into responsibility, and how nobody really prepares you for the moment when jokes stop being jokes. I started realizing that every decision has weight, even when it feels light at the beginning, especially when it feels light. At home, things weren't any easier. My mother still looked at me like she was trying to understand what I was becoming. She didn't say everything directly, but I could feel it in her silence. She wanted me to be better, to think deeper, to stop moving like I had endless chances to get things right. Back then, I didn't fully understand her concern. I thought she was just strict. Now I know it was fear, love, and experience. Because she has seen life in a way I hadn't yet. She knew that some mistakes don't announce themselves when they arrive. They grow slowly, quietly, until one day you're dealing with something you never imagined. I used to think I had time to figure everything out. But slowly, I started realizing time doesn't wait for understanding. And then there was me, caught between all of it. Between who I wanted to be and who I was becoming. Between loyalty to my friends and loyalty to my own conscience. Between love, confusion, and silence. I started asking myself questions I never used to ask. Not about others anymore, but about myself. Was I really making my own choices? Or just following the closest voices around me? If I kept going like this, where would I end up? And would I even recognize myself when I got there? Those questions didn't come with answers, but they stayed with me, quietly shaping the way I started seeing everything. Emily, my mother, my friends, they were all teaching me something different. But none of it mattered if I didn't start thinking for myself. That was the beginning of something I couldn't explain yet. Not change, not growth, but awareness. The realization that every step forward was also a decision about the kind of person I would become. And for the first time, I understood something clearly. I couldn't undo what had already happened. I couldn't control what others chose, but I could decide what I did next. And maybe that's what growing up really is. Not becoming perfect, but becoming aware enough to finally take responsibility for your own story.